was you laughing at? Have I said anything I oughtn't?
Welcome to LetThemTalkTV, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 grammar mistakes by learners of English in WatchMojo style. For this list we've consulted Gideon, an English teacher with over 15 years experience, who has kindly typed out the most common mistakes he comes across in his lessons at the Let Them Talk language school in Paris. Before we begin, we publish new content sometimes, so be sure to subscribe and remember to feed your cats if you have one, because they get hungry. Number 10. Everybody, all and every people. So here's the mistake. Every people know that tigers are dangerous. So firstly, every people does not exist. There is no situation where you can say every people. It's grammatically incorrect. So just say everybody or everyone. They're both the same, by the way. And put it with a singular verb. Everybody knows that tigers are dangerous. Everyone loves unicorns. There you are. That sounds very natural. Secondly, is this correct? All people know that tigers are dangerous. It's grammatically correct, but that doesn't sound natural at all. We don't speak like that. Don't say all people. Use everybody or everyone. Yes, you can use all sometimes where it's followed by a noun where you're talking about a specific group of people or things. For example, all the students had pencils. All the jugglers had balls. So, if you're talking about a specific group of individuals, say all. But if it's not specific, just say everybody. So, I spoke to all. That's not correct. I spoke to everybody. That's correct. But I spoke to all the musicians. You got it? Number 9. Counting uncountable nouns. What's wrong with this sentence? Have you got some information about the new members? Now, there are a number of nouns that are uncountable in English, whereas in other languages they are countable. For example, information. No, you can't say informations. There's no word in English informations. It's uncountable. You can say some information. Have you got some information about the new members? But if you want to count information, you need to use another word. A piece of information. That's right, a piece of information. I've got 2 important pieces of information to tell you about the ambassador. These words are also uncountable. News, a piece or an item of news. The news is good, so news is singular, remember. Luggage, a piece of luggage. 2 pieces of luggage. Okay, you can count suitcases, but not luggage. Research, equipment, luck. I had a stroke of luck today. Never say a luck. A loaf of bread. Don't ask for a bread. That's wrong. Furniture, lightning, jam, cream, dusk, many more. So if you want to have more information about how to count uncountable words, we've made a video about that. Link up here somewhere. Number 8. Starting a sentence with or. What's wrong with this sentence? Or you can have a hot dog, or you can have a kale salad. In many languages, including speakers of Latin languages, when you are offered a choice between 2 things, you can use an or, or combination, okay? That's why I so often hear this mistake. In English, when you are indicating 2 possibilities, you use either or. Either you can have a hot dog or you can have a kale salad. Either we can go to Vienna or we can go to Mumbai. Either you can go out with me or you can go out with Steve. But you can't do both, so make up your mind. Okay. Who's Steve? Number 7. the difference between shade and shadow. What's wrong with this sentence? The sun is too strong. Let's go in the shadow. Not correct. Let's go in the shade. This is a very common mistake because in some languages you only have one word, where in English you have two words, shade and shadow. If you're talking about a dark shape that light makes when it hits a surface, it's called a shadow. Here's a picture of a shadow. And here, shade means a place which is cool and dark because it's away from direct sunlight. Yes, this sometimes means taking advantage of a shadow, something such as a tree to protect you against the sun, but in English it's a different word. Okay, so don't confuse those two, shade and shadow. Shade, of course, also has a second meaning referring to a nuance of colour. I like this shade of green, 50 Shades of Grey. I'm sure you've heard of the book or read the book. Number 6, confusing remember, remind and recall. What's wrong with this sentence? This remembers me when I was a child. Remember means having a memory of something. I remember visiting Stonehenge when I was a kid. Do you remember when we used to make sandcastles on the beach? Remember is an intransitive verb, so it's not followed by a noun or a pronoun. However, remind is a transitive verb, so it is followed by a noun or a pronoun. You can use remind when you cause someone to make a note of something. Can you remind me to feed the cat? Could I remind everybody to switch off all the lights before you leave? Remind is also used to talk about something that causes you to remember something else. This Madeline reminds me of the cakes my mother used to make. When you talk like that, you remind me of your uncle. This reminds me of when I was a child. Recall means bring a memory of something to someone's attention. I seem to recall you saying that we would not be working on Saturday, and here we are. I vaguely recall waking up naked on the beach. So in this context, you can always replace recall with remember. Recall is a bit more literary. So if you're not sure, just use remember. Number 5, confusing say and tell. What's wrong with this sentence? He said me that he had met the Queen. What about this? He said to me he had met the Queen. So, the first sentence is grammatically incorrect. You cannot follow say with a direct object. He said me, James said them. No, that's never correct. The second sentence, he said to me he had met the Queen, is grammatically correct. However, do we say that? No, not really. What about this? He told me that he had met the Queen. Much better. If you're getting confused about when to use say and when to use tell, here are 2 easy tricks to help you remember. Firstly, tell is transitive. You have to tell someone. He told me, she told the mayor, the artist told the banjo player. Said is intransitive. So help me with this. Martha told Jacob he was lovely. Which is correct? So in this sentence, who is Martha talking to? Why, Jacob, of course. So we put tell. Martha told Jacob he was lovely. What about this? Martha told she was very angry. So who is Martha talking to? We don't know. We don't know who she's talking to, so we put say. So when you say who you're talking to, put tell. If not, put say. And one more point, we use say but not tell for direct reported speech. The baker said, "Where's the yeast?" Jeremy said, "Goodbye, suckers," and stormed out the room. Number 4. Named and called. What's wrong with this sentence? I met a guy named Jim. Or, I met a guy whose name is Jim. Okay, so this is not technically a grammatical mistake, but I thought I would include it on this list. In fact, both of these sentences are grammatically correct. However, they sound kind of old-fashioned and literary. They don't sound natural in modern English. So, how do you correct this? Just use the word called. Called. I met a guy called Jim. I saw a film called Rocket Man. Don't say, I saw a film which is named Rocket Man. No, that doesn't sound right. So if you want to sound like a native speaker, just use called. Number 3, using will after when if it's a conjunction. What's wrong with this sentence? Give him the book when he will arrive. The correct phrase is give him the book when he arrives. In this case, when is a conjunction, so we don't follow it with will. This is the same for other conjunctions of time, such as after and as soon as. Explain it to me after you come back. No will. Not after you will come back. No. However, if when is not a conjunction of time, you can use will, such as in a question. When do you think he will arrive? And if when is a relative pronoun, just like other relative pronouns, what, where, which, that, who, why, you can use will. I don't know when he will arrive. If you're not sure if when is a conjunction or a relative pronoun, change when to after. If the sentence still works, it's a conjunction. If not, it's a relative pronoun. So, in the above example, can you say, I don't know after he will arrive? No, that's wrong. So, when is a relative pronoun. So, it's okay to use will. Give me the book when? After he arrives. Give me the book when or after he arrives. The sentence works with both when and after. So, when is a conjunction. So, no will. Number 2, using the wrong future tense. What's wrong with this sentence? What will you do tonight? And what about this? I will fly to Singapore tomorrow. The mistake, using the wrong future tense. In this case, not using the present continuous for the future. Now, when we are talking about our appointments that we've already made, that we've already decided and are in our diaries, we use the present continuous for the future. It's also true if you're asking questions about someone's plans. So, for example, what are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? Sounds more natural, doesn't it? What are you doing tonight? Answer in the comments. I'm flying to Singapore tomorrow. I've got the ticket. It's all planned. It's all decided. So, present continuous for the future. So, how do you use it? Present continuous with a time reference. That's all. I'm having lunch with Muhammad on Friday. You can use it in the negative too, to talk about plans you don't have. I'm not doing anything tonight. Remember, this is only for fixed plans. If it's not a fixed plan, use another future. I'm going to change my job. Don't know when, but that's an intention. So I use the going to future. So for more information about the present continuous for the future, we have a video about it up here somewhere. Number 1, confusing during and for. What's wrong with this sentence? I lived in Japan during 2 years. I lived in Japan for 2 years. Yes, that's right. The difference is quite easy. Just put during before a noun. During goes before a noun. For example, during the day, during the summer, during the lesson, during the flight, etc., etc. Have you got that? So, use for to refer to a period of time, a length of time. In the present, in the past, or in the future, it doesn't matter. He was here for 5 minutes, and then he left. I will be at my country house for the next week. During has the meaning of time inside time. So, for example, I went to Ethiopia during the summer. Now, how long is that for? A week? 2 weeks? Don't know. We don't know. I went to Ethiopia for the summer means all the summer.
No. Do it again.
I'll try.
No. I've told you 500 times. You drive me mad, girl.
Silent drinking is one of the hallmarks of a lady. Yeah. What are you sniggering at?